All right, Ruthless fans. Yeah, this is it. My very first episode review of Ruthless. And I did a video earlier today saying that if you wanted to watch the first episode free without signing up for BET Plus, you can find it on Amazon Prime or Apple TV. For episodes 2 and 3, you need to get a subscription, but episode 1 is available for free. Hence why I decided, you know what, there might be some people only watching episode 1, so let me do my episode 1 review separate from episodes 2 and 3. Still haven't decided if I'll do an episode 2 and episode 3 review, or if I'll just do one lump review. I don't know, but I just know this. At the end of episode 1, there weren't any credits or in-credit scenes where we see a preview for what's happening in the next episode. So I don't know if that's going to happen every time, but moving on. So this episode is titled Pilot, which I do believe was the episode title for both Sisters and The Oval episode 1. I mean, that's not uncommon for TV shows, but I mean, for If Loving You Is Wrong, I think almost every other Tyler Perry show, episode 1 had a specific title, but oh well. In any case, what will I score this episode? I'll just say right off the bat. I was going to give it a 7, not because it was bad. It was actually a decent start to the series and the characters and whatnot. But during the last few minutes, a lot of bombs were dropping like, oh, damn, okay. So I bumped it up to a 7.5 out of 10. And once again, before going any further, you can find the first episode free if you are an Amazon Prime member or if you have Apple TV. And make sure you like the video. Since this was Ruthless episode 1, let's give it a... Let's do a go 60 likes. Let's go for 60 likes on this video. Also, if you are new, make sure you take a moment, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content here on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links to all the various forms in the description box below. And if you would like to donate any money to the channel, you can hit me up on Cash App or PayPal. There's a link to the PayPal in the description, and Cash App, I will have that photo somewhere in the video. Maybe now when I'm talking, or you can scan it, or it'll be somewhere. But here's what happened in the first episode. The first half was, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of slow. Basically, you know, we have Callie being brought to the highest. So this picks up where it left off in episode 2 when Ruth and the cult members took Callie away. I feel like I need to go back and watch that scene in the Oval. It was at the ending of episode 1 and then the beginning of episode 2 where, you know, the people come in and take Callie. I wanted to see, for continuity's sake, were the people who came into Nancy's house the same cult members who left? But then again, they actually switched cars at the beginning of the episode. So technically speaking, the people who had Callie and Ruth in that vehicle probably drove off as they switched vehicles. And they were in there with Andrew and, what's the dude's name? Daikon. So continuity wise, I think they were actually correct. So Callie's throwing a fit. And, you know, the one dude, Daikon's telling her to calm down. The highest doesn't like that kind of fussing. Tell her to be quiet, stay silent. Basically, he was the dad. He's like, don't make me reach back there, or don't make me turn this car around. But obviously, they're not doing that. Funniest line, shut up, man, with your ugly self. I was done. Like, Callie, you okay in my book. You okay in my book. But Tally's getting flack for driving too fast. And, you know, she's pretty much trying to do the right thing. Like, I'm driving the speed limit. Basically, any kind of talking back is frowned upon by this organization. When the sun go down, look, I'm not a singer, but that was an excellent theme song. If nothing else that you take away from episode 1 of Ruthless, the theme song was fire. And I am uncertain as to whether or not I should put it at the front of my Ruthless videos due to copyright, even though technically I've done it for all the other shows I review. So I will possibly put the theme song at the beginning of my next episode review or reviews. And if it doesn't get flagged, then I'll keep using it, just to let you know. But guys, the freaking theme song, banger. It was a banger. I mean, I've always debated whether or not I like the Sisters theme song better than the Oval. because they're both different tunes. Like, Sisters is more upbeat. The Oval is more serious and dark. Feels like I'm running out of time versus My Girls Hold Me Down. But then when the sun go down, I mean, it's hard to pick which one I like best, but it was a banger for sure. Look, we're at the 5-minute mark, and I spent a lot of time talking about the darn theme song without really going into the story of the episode. My bad, but the theme song is great. That's all I got to say. I'm done. Okay. So Tally gets hit for talking back, even though she just said that, she's just a child and she's obviously scared, hence why she's freaking out. So she gets hit by Daikon and wrecks the car. Insert women can't drive meme here. Ugh. Okay, so then we move over to, I guess you could say, the protagonist of the series, Brian Rollins. He is an FBI agent. His boss, Mac, calls in the middle of him having relations with his wife, and it's an ASAP because he's at the front door. Lynn, the wife, suspects that, they're being watched based off the fact they're like, put some clothes on. Like, how would he know you're not having any clothes on? And then Andrew Whiteside was the name of an undercover agent that was sent in to infiltrate the cult, but he may have been compromised. And he asked the important questions of Andrew, would he remember you? It's like we never really formally met, but we've seen each other at a couple of conferences. So Mac thinks that's a bad idea for for Brian to go undercover. And please be patient with me. I'm still learning the character names. Brian to go undercover because of the fact that it might ruin things. But either way, 3 weeks ago, Andrew was sent into the cult. He stopped checking in. It seems like he's been compromised and possibly converted into this cult, which has about 100 cult members into drug trafficking, anti-government, anti-white, pretty much black power, stockpiling weapons for what they feel will be an eventual race war. Too bad they didn't have the foresight because this corona... No, I can't say that word because I'll be demonetized. This epidemic we're going through, if they had weapons against that, I'm pretty sure we would become members too. Ha! Okay, no. Then we go over to the name of the highest, which I do believe Nancy brought up to Sharon and Tally in the Oval. Louise Tyrone Luckett, who went to jail for what was it? Attempted armed robbery and attempted murder. Started calling himself the highest. Rockwell, Virginia, which is okay. Let me take a pause here. First of all, Tyler Perry. Why you got to keep bringing up Virginia in these horror stories and whatnot? First, you have a fall from grace take place in Virginia. I forgot what location, but now you got the freaking Rackadushis. I hope I said it right. In Rockwell, Virginia. That's 2 hours from where I live in Lynchburg. I live in Virginia. I don't want to be looking over my shoulder every time I go out of town. Like, okay, I wonder, is there a cult here, or is there some woman who has a bunch of old ladies in the basement? Stop messing around with Virginia, Tyler Perry. Okay, good grief. All right. So anyway, at the car wreck, Tally's being scolded and might possibly be, punished by going into the cooler. Daikon is pretty much, you should know your place. And basically, Ruth tries to comfort Callie, saying that, hey, Tally, you're going to go get a car, and I want to come with you. And while I go with you, I'm going to teach Callie the ways of being part of this family in order to please the highest. So as they walk away, you can actually see Tally's not really agreeing with Callie being brought into this organization, while Ruth seems really I'm sorry, I can't really talk today for some reason. Ruth seems like blissfully ignorant to the lifestyle she's living and thinks that it's the best for her daughter as well, even though Tally does not agree at all. So then we go to Daikon and Andrew talking at the vehicle, and during the conversation I'm thinking, wait, is Andrew actually has he been compromised, or is he playing the role a bit too well? Kind of like that episode of Teen Titans when Cyborg goes undercover into the Hive Academy as Stone, and it's like, oh my god, did he become a member of Hive, or is he still one of the Teen Titans? And he was actually one of the Teen Titans. I forgot what the name of the episode was. Was it Identity Undercover? I forgot. I know it was one of my favorite episodes. So then we move forward to, the cleansing thing. At first I'm like, cleansing? Is he talking about having his what chopped off? But apparently, based off how Daikon was saying it. It's almost like, the highest, gets a little freaky with the people he feels are chosen. So, I don't know. Daikon seemed a little, he's been watching you. It's only been, 3 months if you climbed the ranks very quickly. That's not a good thing. I did that, and I'm just like, so Daikon, why was it a bad thing that you climbed the ranks? So it's like, are you like the highest right-hand man and you don't want anyone else? Are you jealous of Andrew, or what's going on? Because Andrew kept asking the questions that made me feel like maybe he's playing the part so well, and he's really trying to get all the inside intel on what's going on. So when he says how he has like sexual urges, Daikon's quick to kind of reprimand, like, hey, don't touch the women. The highest doesn't like that. Sex is a gift, not a right, or something along those lines. I don't know. But basically, he said, don't touch the pure. First of all, and I'm doing this review from only an episode 1 perspective. Keep that in mind, even though I have seen episodes 2 and 3. But I'm going to ask the questions that someone would ask if they only watched episode 1. Are we talking about virgins, like the women who are virgins? Or are we talking about the children? Because that they did, Mac did mention how this organization about child trafficking, and most of the kids in the organization were born there, and others were they're with their parents because of custody rights. So yeah, I pray it is not that situation where the pure are the children. But then again, this is child trafficking, and I hope this show is rated MA, so I really hope they don't go there. But anyway, he says that the cleansing will take care of his desires, which again, I do feel like the highest probably puts hands on him, but I don't want to see that at all. I'm sorry, I don't. So that brings about the question of, wait a minute, if Callie was brought into the organization, even though Barry has rights to Callie instead of, well, no, isn't it like split custody? No. If I'm not mistaken, Ruth doesn't have visitation rights. So my thing is this: if Callie's being brought into the organization, wouldn't that bring unwanted heat on the cult? Even though they say some of the members are actually in the police department, so it's like it could be debated that even if Barry tried to get the law on his side, there are people who are compromised. So I don't know. That's interesting indeed. All right, so basically Tally steals a truck, gets shot at, her cloak gets ripped, and it's unknown whether or not the man still has part of the ripped cloak. So she gets reprimanded again for screwing up, and they arrive at the camp. We get some backstory into how Tally and Ruth got into the organization. They were both lost, pretty much. She was kind of disowned by her sister Denise, rest in peace, and they were in prostitution before the highest found them. And Tally's just questioning everything about how things are being done and how it wasn't right that she was punished and things like that. So she decides to go wash, like clothes and whatnot to make amends. And Ruth loves it there, and like I said, crystal-eyed, and just thinks that this is the best place on earth. So then Lynn, we switch over to the next morning. Lynn is looking at the video of Andrew with intel about the cult. She wants in on this case, and only if she's involved will she decide to move with her husband. She wants to be undercover member of the cult, and Brian is not having it. He calls his boss about it, and even he's like, well, she was a good cop, So, Mac isn't having it whatsoever. Then we go over to the cult once again. Andrew goes to see Tally, finds out they're in love with each other. They had sex. She did not have her period. Dun, dun, dun. She could be pregnant with his baby, but he's like, is it mine? You're the only one. Well, so much for you almost becoming an elder, Andrew. But then again, based off what we've seen in the Oval, he probably doesn't need to worry about it. All right, so Daikon arrives right when he mentions things about, like the morning after pill. But basically, it's unknown if he overheard their conversation. All he says is, hey, there's a woman at the front gate that the highest wants you to take care of. And Tally, the highest, wants to see you. Yeah, this is the part where I'm like, oh, shit, this is getting real. Then we have Lynn at the front gate. So it is unknown if Brian is aware that Lynn took it upon herself to go to the cult. I'm going to assume he did not know. because of the fact that her cover story was easily picked apart by Andrew. Andrew goes out, meets her, talks with her. She comes up with the cover story that, hey, I heard you all help people like me. I'm being abused by my, husband. They go into the camp, have a walk because they say, oh, I want you to meet the highest. But pretty much, he's interrogating her. Her story is flimsy at best. And he already knows about, okay, why did you park so far away from here? Oh, are you thirsty? Are you thirsty? And then the two guys come up and grab her, and it's like she doesn't know. Like, her story was like ridiculous because she talked about how, oh yeah, I saw these two women at the store. They talked to me, and then I followed them. They were wearing their cloaks, which right there isn't true because if memory serves, Sharon said that, oh my God, those guys have in like the strip mall that the pharmacy I work at is part of. There's this place. How did she find? Oh yeah, I think when Tally went over to Nancy's house, she told Sharon and Nancy one of the addresses for the Colts location, which is always changing. And Sharon's like, yeah, it's like, I know that place is right in the strip mall where I work, and I've never seen people in cloaks there. And Tally's like, well, that's because they wear regular clothes, and then they don't get into their uniforms until they're behind closed doors. So basically, that's where Lynn's story faulted right there, because Andrew was like, yeah, none of us go around in our formal garbs like that. So he knew the story was a lie. And turns out they had raided her car, and it looks like, he spiked a drink or something and tries to force it down her throat. And that was the end of the episode. So guys, I gotta say, episode 1, 7.5 out of 10 I think is a fair score. Again, not a bad episode, a decent start to this series. If you were to ask me what scene was drawn out, just the beginning when Callie was whining in the car, and then Daikon was like, keep her down, stop asking questions, blah blah blah. That was pretty much it. Other than that, I think the episode moved at a decent pace. I don't feel like I was overloaded with information. I think that for the most part, this episode just kind of focused on Callie. Well, no, actually, Callie and Ruth were kind of like background characters in this episode. It's really focused on Tally and Andrew, the dynamic of Daikon in the ranking system of the cult. Then we get introduced to the storyline of Brian, Lynn, and Mac. And to be honest, I think, and then the older couple who got their truck robbed. So I think this episode did a fair job with balancing the characters. So yeah, 7.5. I dare say that it could be 8 worthy, 8 out of 10 worthy, but I'll stick with the 7.5 for now. So with that being said, I'd highly recommend checking out Ruthless. I mean, it's only 40 minutes like a standard Tyler Perry episode. And like I said, it's absolutely free on Amazon Prime, if you remember, and Apple TV. So again, you're not putting any money at risk just to watch the first episode. And based on the ending, definitely want to check out episode 2 and 3, which I'll do the reviews for tomorrow since I posted 2 episodes this morning. I'm about to post 2 episodes right now. So I do find it interesting, though, when you really think about it. During the first episode of The Oval, the ending of episode 1 and the beginning of episode 2 was in conjunction. It's like that was the pilot for Tyler Perry's new series, The Oval, had the back door open for the pilot of Ruthless, which is very strange, but it seemed to work out well. But then again, is Ruth still alive? Okay, no, I mean, could Ruth be alive? Because technically she was found at the police station the next morning in the Oval when Barry and Nancy went to find her. I gotta think about timeline stuff. But either way, great episode. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video.